regardless of whether there's a dome on the house, or a cross on the house, or a half moon on the house, or the Star of David on the house. It's the house of the Creator. Like, you all have family that have come from one Father. You all have your own homes. Do all of your homes look the same? No. Do you say, I'm not going to my brother's house because his home has got 3 windows, mine's got 2 windows, and so I'm not going to go there because the 3 windows got a fence? No, we don't. He's my brother. We come from the same Father. So I'm going to go there. How is that any different than any of the places we call a church, a temple, a mosque, not different. We make it different. We create that difference. So when I say to this young lady, I say, you're coming into the house of God. Do you believe in God? She goes, yes. I said, then what's the issue? She goes, yeah, but I said, no. What's the issue? Like, is your God different than my God? Because if it is, let's have a conversation. Because that's not what I've been told. Let's compare telegrams. And so the minute you say that your God is my God, then the architecture and all the other things become fairly easy to, figure out. Fairly easy to figure out. In our home, we just have this, and many of you do, a simple rule that when you come into the house, you leave your shoes outside. I have family where they say, bring your shoes in. Feels odd, but we go ahead and do that. All fun, no problem. Oh, yeah, no problem. Sorry, was a sheep, no, I could have kid. So, there's no issue with that. So when I said that to her, she calmed down. And I said, she goes, but I have to bow. I have to bow. I said, yes, you have to bow. But what do you think it is that you're bowing to? She goes, well, to the Sikh traditions. I said, to the traditions, what do they mean to you? She goes, well, your way of life. I said, okay, what does my way of life mean to you? And we kind of kept going that way until we landed on, I want you to know, dear, that the 1,430 pages that's contained in the scriptures, the Guru Granth Sahib, are written by not just by the Sikh Gurus, but also by teachers, Pagambars, saints, the great-grandson of Guru Amar Das, poets, all had one thing in common, a love for the Creator. I said, so do you have love for the Creator? She goes, yeah. I said, so you're bowing to people who wrote down and put their love for the Creator in written form. These are love letters. And I said, what do you understand about the technology of the bow? She goes, well, I guess you're surrendering. I said, perfect. You understand it. I said, what are you surrendering to? She goes, to the scriptures. I said, no. How do you surrender to scriptures? You can't. You're surrendering to teachings. You're surrendering to knowledge. You're surrendering to wisdom. You're surrendering to the potential of being more. Because until you give up your own ego, surrender your ego, the capacity and the capability to accept and be available for wisdom, counsel, and blessing is impossible. So that is the technology of vow. The technology of the vow is surrender. Surrender of your ego, your own wisdom, your own, sort of arrogance, our own sort of pride, and making our vessel available for greater wisdom, greater counsel, greater guidance, and blessing. We cannot receive blessings if this thing is full of ego, arrogance, and pride. Cannot. People will not bless you because they'll just see you can't receive that blessing. Right? So that's technology divine. So after we spoke and had that conversation, I said, how do you feel now? She goes, I'm excited. I said, wonderful. That's how you should be when you come into the house of the Creator. Excited. Because you're coming to receive. And when would you not be excited to receive? Right? Every Christmas comes, I'm so excited. Father's Day, they're saying I'm going to get some good stuff today. I don't know what tomorrow. I'm already excited. It's not even today. So we get excited. And these are worldly things, which will last us a year or two. My Starbucks cup lasted, I don't know, 6 months. Blessings last us a lifetime, and they carry us. So Guru says, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, Amrit Bani, Har Har Teri, Sona Sona Hove Paramagat Meri. So Guruji says, the word of your Bani, Lord, Bani scriptures, Bani love letters, Bani conversations that the saints and teachers have had with the Creator. Lord, the word of your scriptures, the Lord, your sound current, Lord, your vibration, when I hear it over and over again, I am elevated into supreme heights. And when we chant Vaheguru, and Vaheguru simply means Va, I am in awe. And so, folks, I also know that a lot of, and again, I'll use these terms just so that we give context to it, Sikhs, because I keep telling folks that they say I'm a Sikh, and they say, perfect, very good, what does that mean? I say, I'm the Sikh of Guru Nanak. I said, perfect, what does that mean? So I follow the teachings of Sikhism. I said, great, what does that mean? You still haven't answered the question. Sikh means both student and to learn. It's a verb and a noun at the same time. So, yes, proclaim that you're a Sikh, but understand what your job is when you say it, this is who I am. You are both a student and a student that is going to learn, committing to learn. Because you can't be a student just by name. Because I also know a lot of students that have been UBC for many, many years, but not yet graduated. That's just for fun. Committed student has a plan and wanting to be more tomorrow than they are today. So you are both a student and there to learn. So it's both a verb and a noun. So I have these conversations with Sikhs. I say, I'm a Sikh. I said, great, excellent. So when you do that, when you claim that you are a something, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Buddhist, when you claim that, there's responsibility that comes along with it. The responsibility of absolutely, being in line and in tune and in sync with the Creator's wishes. Because the minute I say I'm so-and-so's son, then the expectation is that so-and-so will have had an influence on my upbringing. So I'm either going to bring great reputation to my father, or I'm going to be not so good, right? And my father might even say, I don't know that guy. So Guruji says, Sona Sona Hove Paramagat Meri. So Amrita Bani, scriptures, Vaheguru. So we're speaking about Vaheguru. Vaheguru simply means, and as I was saying, when I say to Sikhs and say, Vaheguru, many say, well, this is, from Gurbani. And I will tell you that Vaheguru, the Shabd Vaheguru, was here before Guru Nanak was here. So how is it that we have TM in a circle attached to Vaheguru? We don't. Vah means I am in awe. Gu means darkness, Ru means light. I am in awe of that moves me from darkness to light. Simple, but absolutely profound. To be in complete connection, relationship with something that will continuously move you from darkness to light. Right? And being in awe of that. I didn't know, now I know. I'm ignorant, now I know. I'm in darkness, now I'm in light. I'm in pain, now I'm in joy. I'm depressed, I'm no longer depressed. That's that movement. Wow. That's that power. That's that authority to move you from that place of darkness to the place of light. And it captures all those things I say to you, share with you. Even in the worst kind of disease, to be able to move from that space of hopelessness to hope while moving through that tribulation. Why? Sona Sona Hove, Paramagat Meri, I am elevated to the supreme heights through hearing, through singing, I'm elevated. Jalan Buji Sital Hoy Manua Satguru Ka Darshan Paijo. The burning within me has been extinguished, and my mind has been cooled and soothed by the blessed vision of the true Guru. Sukh Paya Dukh Dur Parana, happiness is obtained and sorrow runs far away. So I also want to make sure that we understand that when we speak about happiness, happiness is not about you know, being happy because we got a job that pays us 100K a year, because we got a new car, because any of that. That's not joy. That's not happiness. That's just temporary. That's fleeting. That's just like watching a movie for an hour and a half and then having to leave the theater. And if you don't leave the theater, people are going to think you're crazy, right? Or you're waiting for the next movie to start and you just didn't want to pay the next set of tickets. One or the other. But happiness is about being content. Being content is about moving through whatever you're moving through, but not being a victim to that moment or that circumstance. That's being content. That's being happy. And we will have all kinds of things come our way through our life, move us, difficult things. But being able to move through those things, balanced and centered, and still having that relationship with the Creator without being moved by the circumstance, but moving the circumstance from whatever it is to this place of Chardigala, high morale, high spirits, constantly in that space. The two young sons of Guru Gobind Singh have been called to the court of Aurangzeb, and he puts a test in front of them to get them to bow to him. He closes the large gate and have them move through a small gate, small opening, that the only way he thought they would be able to go through would be to bow to him, to surrender to him by putting their head through first. But those kids, spiritual guides, spiritual teachers of ours, at 5 and 9, put their foot through first and denied him that surrender, because they had already surrendered to something greater than themselves. They already surrendered to something greater than themselves, so there was no way they would. So in that moment where they were moving through that darkness, or we perceived it to be darkness, because they knew that if they did not follow what was requested of them, or what was asked or demanded of them, really, which was to convert, they were going to lose their lives. But in that moment of tribulation, they were still able to be in Chardikala, in that state of victory constantly. So the foot went through first and then the head. So we ask ourselves, how many times in our day, in our life, have we had to put our head down, and instead of putting our foot forward first? So when people ask, and folks ask, well, what are the lessons of Sikhi? What are the lessons of all of our teachers? These are the lessons of teachers. When you come to those moments where there are tribulation, challenges, don't lower your head, put your foot in first, so that you're still standing tall, no matter what you're going through. Cancer comes, put your foot through first. You lose your job, put your foot through first. You have difficulty in life, put your foot through first. Don't bow, because you already surrendered to something greater than what it is that you're moving through. So how can you surrender to that now? Impossible. Sukh paya dukh dur prana. So this is what happiness means. And dukh is exactly that falling prey, falling victim to that circumstance. It's not dukh in that traditional sense. We have someone that we love pass away. No, we feel separation. We feel some pain, that person, but you don't fall prey to that. You don't fall victim to that. No, why? The cycle of life. And Guruji's been very clear. How dare you think that you can actually die? After saying you are the son, daughter, being of the Creator, the infinite, how dare you say that you are not infinite? It would be, absolutely at that moment to say that I'm not in. I mean, it's a slap at your father's face. It's really at that moment, separating yourself from the Creator's gift. So we don't have the authority to die, FYI. Our soul moves on, our energy moves on, our vibration moves on. Stephen Hawking speaks of this as well. So, just saying, it'd be like us getting angry with somebody who goes upstairs and changes their clothes. Oh my God, you changed your clothes. No, just change your clothes. So when we die, we just change our clothes. We leave this body behind that's about 100 and whatever years old. I've said I'm going to leave till 125 because kids are not getting nothing. And then I'm leaving to the next set of clothes, whatever they are. And away we go. And carry on doing our duty, doing our responsibility, following through with what our purpose is, which is greater, bigger, and better than what? His face is here. Jal thal neer pare sarso bhar birtha koi na jaye jiyo. The sea, the dry land, and the lakes are filled with water. The Lord's name, no places is left empty. And that is our shortage when we think we are by ourselves. In each molecule, there is the Creator. In each cell, the Creator lives. We're never alone. The Creator has showed His kindness. Ji Jan Sagale Pare cherishes and nurtures all beings and creatures. Mihirvan Kirpal Deyala Sagale Tript Agaiju. He's merciful, kind, compassionate. All are satisfied and fulfilled through Him. Varnam Tren Trip Paman Kiton Hariya. The woods, the meadows, and the three worlds are rendered green through the Creator. Karanahar Kinipitar Karya. The doer of all did this in an instant. Gurmukh Nanak Tise Aradha Mane Ki Aas Pujai Jiyo. As a Gurmukh, he who follows the teachings of that moves you from darkness to light. Gurmukh, Guru, that teacher, moving from darkness to light. As Gurmukh Nanak meditates on the one who fulfills the desires of the mind. So, and often we, folks turn these things to make whatever it is that they want to make to mean out of them, and Ragita said no better. And he said, no, we'll sing Yashala Lakakushina Patishanya. He said, oh yeah, we got a new house, we're so happy now. No. It got nothing to do with that. Lakushya Pashanya has nothing to do with new trucks, new cars, new jobs, new babies, new kids, new education. Nothing to do with it. Lakushya Pashanya and Sadhguru Nadakari have everything to do with Guruji celebrating the fact that he's got Naam, that has received Naam. That's it. That's the day we celebrate Lakakushya Bhajana, is when we received the boon of the Creator's blessing. And that's not. And that's the ability to have a daily practice. That's the ability to sit every day to sing the Creator's name. That's Lakakushya Bhajana. Jai Sadhguru. So. Har har tere sun sun bole rangat mein jiya amrit bani har har tere sun sun bole जलन बुझी शीतल हुए मन हुआ सतगुरु का दर्शन पाए जलन बुझी शीतल हुए मन हुआ सतगुरु का दर्शन पाए जीवो हरे हरे सोने सोने हो Kirtan सुख पया दुख दूर कराना संग रस में हरे नाम बिहारा जल थल नीर हरे सरसो हरे बिरथा होए ना जाए जी अमृत पाई जी अमृत पाई हरे हरे सुन सुन परम अमृत पानी अमृत पानी दया तारी इन सिर जिन आरे जी जत सकले खत मारे मेहरबान 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 हिरपाल दयाला सकल अगाए जी अमृत पानी जी अमृत पानी हरे हरे तेरी सोने सोने करम मत मेरी अमृत बड़े तेरे पवन की तुन हरिया करने हार किन भीतर करिया गुरमुख नानक गुरमुख नानक गुरमुख नानक इसे अनादे मन की आस बुझाए जी अमृत वाणी हरे हरे तेरी सुने सुने हो
शीतल हुए जलने बुझी शीतल हुए सतगुर का दर्शन पाए अमृत वाणी अमृत वाणी हरे हरे सुने सुने
You know, the lawnmowers are tuned. Pretty amazing. This shabd is also by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. Rasana japati tu hi tu. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji is having a conversation with his tongue. Saying, tongue, sing, tu hi tu hi tu hi tu hi tu hi tu. Rasana japati tu hi tu. Because this is the first point of where we are able to articulate our intention through our tongue. And if we can manage that part, Vaheguru. And you should also know that folks have done lots of research on this, and certainly as I was going through my training around becoming a good interrogator, one of the, I know, it all comes in here. Interesting how that training became important. Part of that training was to understand that our words only have about 25% value with respect to how we communicate with each other. The other 75% comes from body, from expression, from intonation, from our intention. So that's why, and I know none of you have been through this experience, where you have misunderstood something over WhatsApp, and then all hell breaks loose because suddenly half the family goes quiet and they're having side chats on another WhatsApp group that's been created because of what was said in this WhatsApp group, right? And then it goes off to Facebook because you can't trust WhatsApp because you might just post in the other group by mistake. I know nobody's mentioned that either. I've never done that. So let's get off that platform because, you know, whatever we're talking about may not, hopefully doesn't sort of spill over. That's all because we were not there to experience what was being said and the intention through the language of our physical self, our intonation, the volume, and our intention. Because all we were left with were words. So when we hear people over the phone, we have some of that. But when we just see the words, communication is very difficult because you miss over 80% of the intention behind those words. And very easy to go this way or this way, up or down, left or right, don't know. So you gotta hope and find out, and figure out.
Or in circles.
Or go, yeah. So, best advice at that time, and I know my kids come to me, Dad, I can't believe it. Pick up the phone, give them a call, better still, go for coffee. Figure it out. Leave that WhatsApp thing alone, unless you're just starting with, hey, good news. Awesome. Everything else, why? And even when you're trying to do it with the best of intentions, the crap just happens, right? And you're just like, oh my God, how did that happen?
There's emojis.
Yeah, the emojis are so good. I'm so sorry. Please, Yeah, big tears go down. I know. Emojis are great. Until you pocket emoji somebody. And that happened to me. This lady comes to buy Kirtan, she leaves, and I pocket emoji her a face with two big hearts in it. Right? And she's looking at it going, how do I deal with this one? So she replies back, she goes, Aji. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm saying, it's that phone. It's, no. I was like, no, don't misinterpret, nothing, no. Yeah.
You mean you didn't respond to the emoji?
No. Yeah. No. Pocket emojis are bad. Just, worse than pocket dialing. Rasna japti tu hi. Mat garb, in the womb of my mother. You sustained me. Mrit mandal ek tu hi. And in this mortal world, Lord, it's just you. Tum hai pita, tum hi phanmata, tum hai meet hit prata. You're my father, you're my mother. You are my most dearest companion. My loving friend. Tum parvar, tum hai adara, tum hai ji pran data. You're my family, you are my support, you are the giver, the breath of life. Tum hai khajina, tum hai jarina, tum hi manak lala. You are my treasure, you are my wealth, you are my gem, you are my jewels. Tum hai par jaat gurte pai, to nanak pay niha. You are the wish-fulfilling Elysian tree. Nanak, he has found you through the Guru, through the teacher, and now he is in rapture. Rasna japti tu hi. Rasna japti tu hi. Rasna japti. Rasna japti
तुम है पार जात गुरते पाए, तुम है पार जात गुरते पाए, आओ नानक है निहारा, ओ नानक है निहारा, हसना जब की हसना जब की
So I'm going to share with you just a quick on that shabad, tu hi tu, tu hi tu. You can, if you want to try this out as a practice for yourselves. I know last time you went on a holiday, you took meditation with you. Folks were doing it everywhere. We got Facebook updates. That was very good. Thank you. So someone came to me and said, I meditate and I fall asleep. I said, no, you're sleeping, you're not meditating. Which is perfectly okay, but don't confuse meditation and sleeping. There's a big difference. So he said, so what do I do? I said, well, one, don't lie down. That's a start. And then two, put a practice or put a movement into your meditation. So some folks can sit and just meditate and over we go. All good. And meditation is about, being between that, in that state of conscious and unconsciousness. That's where that sweet spot is. It's not really here, but it's not here, but really not here either. It's here, but not here. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's that space between consciousness and unconsciousness where you're just in that sweet spot there. If you're unconscious, you're asleep. If you're conscious, you're thinking about work, you're thinking about all these other things going on in your life. That's the difference. That space between conscious and unconscious is where you don't have any connection with being asleep or being in this world and not trying to solve any issues or solve any problems. If you're solving problems, you're conscious. And there's a meditation for that as well. It's called directed meditation, where you are actually directing that meditation to solve or sort out some issues or challenges that you're engaged in. The Dalai Lama does this for 4 hours every day. So it's perfectly fine. There's non-directed meditation as well, where you just let things happen. And in that state is where you also will move into the unconscious state. In that unconscious state is where you begin to rejuvenate. That's where things kind of sort out for themselves. So this particular practice that I'm about to share with you is about being in that conscious state, but connected with the Creator. So it's even more difficult to be in that conscious unconscious state when you are moving. But that's also part of that process. Because guess what we do all day? We move around. So wouldn't it be great to be in that state of meditation constantly, where you're moving around? So this is that transition. So when folks have movement in their meditation, that's the purpose. That's the attempt to continue to remind the body that even when you're moving around, you can stay connected with the Creator. Right? It's very different. That's a very different thing than doing Japji Sahib while making tea. The two are not the same. Yeah, I do Japji Sahib every day. Yeah, while I'm making tea. I said, no, you're not doing Japji Sahib, you're making tea.
Or laundry.
Or laundry, yeah. I said, it's very holy tea. That's super good. Sorry, what did you say? Or hula hooping, yeah. You know, brilliant. Awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. But it's, it's like talking to your dad while you're hula hooping. Maybe that works. I don't know. But it's not doing Japji Sahib. Japji Sahib is sitting in the lap of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and uttering the words of the Guru. Understand the incredible and the intensity and the depth of that off of our mouth and off of our tongue are the words that are being uttered, that were written and uttered by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Like, just take a moment and understand that bit. Think about when we read the letter of someone that has passed on. They've left us a note, and you read that letter, and as you're reading that letter, what happens? You start to tear up, you start to get emotional, you start to connect because you're feeling this deep connection, deep love, that you're uttering the words of the person that you have this deep connection with that has passed on, that's not near you, that you can't immediately kind of, go and embrace. Think in those terms, that we're uttering the words of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And this is where folks, that's why I say it's very hard to sit in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's lap and then do hula hooping at the same time. It doesn't work. So when you're sitting in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's lap, feel the embraces. Ik Onkar Satnam Karta Park Nirbhav Nirvair Kalmur Ajuni Saitam Guru Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jagad Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. It's a different space. It's a different state compared to the I don't know what that is. That's not Japji Sahib. So this particular movement we can do with Tum Hi Tum. So it looks like this. So the two, a lot of folks ask me, well, why is this important? Why is prayer pose important? Prayer pose is the only pose where you can bring your negative and positive into a neutral space. This is the only time where you can bring both sides of yourself into a neutral space. We're going to create that energy between the neutral spaces. So this is, you will never touch the palms. Spine is straight, chin is pulled in, but they will just be at that place. And the hand is going to reach above our 10th gate, above our crown, and onto the ethers. So there's a number of ways of doing this. You can do this with Vaheguru, or you can do this with Tum Hi Tum. So with Vaheguru, it looks like this. Vaheguru, Vaheguru. And when you say the last bit, feel the vibration up on the crown chakra, on the 10th gate. Have it as your hand is moving up, have the energy move up and vibration rising up to here, up to there. Okay? So if you have shoulder problems, back problems, all that stuff, well, figure that out. That, you don't want to be in a stretcher afterwards either, so you know your body best. So warm up if that's not a common thing that you do. But so there's two ways of doing this. 11 minutes, 5 minutes, you can do this for however long you want. Go on for 31 minutes as well. So it looks like this. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. That's Vaheguru. Or you can do Tum Hi Tum. Tum Hi Tum, Tum Hi Tum, Tum Hi Tum, Tum Hi Tum, Tum Hi Tum. Focus on the third eye. And then let the vibration be here. Every time you move, the vibration rises with it. And that's the purpose of the movement, is to raise that vibration, to be connected to the Creator. So from here to here. So try that out for 40 days and see what happens. Outside of you'll have very toned shoulders, maybe other things will also change in shape for you. Right. I know we're at about 11:51. I know, it just flies by. We can do one more Shabbat, and then we can do some Simran, and then we have some lovely food.
Soul food.
Soul food. It's also sold food.
Are you not doing a show?
Yeah. Are you doing a Shabbat? Yeah.
I couldn't practice because my harmonium is broken.
Bring
But
bring your sitar.
I have set the intention. Needs tuning. I need tuning.
So the
I will
intention.
sit with you one day.
Oh my Guru. The one day. One day I will. We will bring that one day to you, my dear sister. Okay. This Shabad again, also from Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. Satguru Apana Sat Sada Samari. I contemplate forever and ever the true Guru. Guru ke charane kes sandichara. The feet of the Guru, I dust the feet of the Guru with my hair. Jagre man jaganhare. Mind awake. Awake, oh my mind, awake. Bin har avarna avasakama chutha moh mithya pasare. Without the Lord, without the Creator, without the understanding of the infinite, nothing else shall be of use to you. False is emotional attachment, and useless are worldly entanglements, which is what we put a lot of effort and emphasis in. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, waste of time. Gur ki bani syon rang laye. Through the word of God, embrace love. Embrace the love of the Creator through Guru's bani. And it is through the Guru's bani that we will understand the Creator's love. Gur kirpal huye dukh jaye. With the Guru, when the Guru shows his mercy, pain is destroyed. Again, I want to make sure I'm clear on this, because a lot of ministers, teachers, spiritual guides, why do you call them whatever, there's all kinds of labels folks carry around. They say, oh yeah, do this, and your pain will go away. This pain has got nothing to do with your physical pain, your money pain, your work pain, your reputation pain, your any of that pain. Nothing to do with that. This pain has everything to do with Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Jhoot, Prem, Chod. This pain has to do with lust, greed, pride, anger, attachment, the 5 thieves that are constantly attacking us, that are constantly interfering with us, that are constantly interfering with our ability to connect with the Creator. That's pain. That pain. The pain of being separated. The pain of not being connected. That pain is shot away. Not any other pain. So there's nothing here that says, you sing this, cancer will go away. You sing this, your arthritis will go away. You sing this, not like none of that. And that's what this, Because here's a simple thing. Like, if the body is going to be ultimately at the end of the day be done with, then that was the plan to begin with. That was already planned. So what is it that we're trying to save? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't be healthy. I'm not saying don't exercise. I'm not saying don't be physically fit. I'm not saying, go and fill yourself with all kinds of, bad food. No. We still need this physical body to do all the work that we need to do to be connected with the Creator. That's the purpose of this body. Right. And for that, you need to be physically fit. Gurubir duja nahi thao. Without the Guru, there is no other place of rest. Gurudata, Gurudeva Nam. The Guru is the giver, the Guru gives the Nam. Guru Par Brahm Parameshwar Aap. The Guru is the Supreme Lord God. He himself is the transcendent Lord. Aag Pahar Nanak Gurjap. 24 hours a day, Lord, O Nanak, meditate on the Guru. If we can get 11 minutes, that's pretty good. Guruji said do it 24 hours a day. Right.
गुर की बाणी 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 गुर की बाणी जो रंग लाए गुर के पाल गुर की बाणी जो रंग लाए गुर की पाल हुए दुख जाए सतगुरु अपना सद सदा समाए गुर के चरण केस संग थाए सतगुरु अपना सद सदा समाए गुर के चरण केस संग थाए गुर की बाणी जो रंग लाए गुर की बाणी हुए दुख जाए गुर की बाणी जो रंग लाए गुर की बाणी जाग रे मना जागन हारे जाग रे मना जागन हारे जाग रे मना जाग Awake my mind, awake. Jagane mana, jagane mana, jagane mana, jagane mana, jagane
Why? Just before we start simmering for a few minutes, are there any questions?
Could you please explain the movement again, why that's important for the meditation?
One, to keep you awake, so you don't fall asleep. Two, it helps move the vibration down the hand up to the 10th gate. So as you move your hand up to the top, visualize a sound current moving with your hand up to the top, to the crown chakra and beyond. So we have 10 gates, Guruji says, and 9 are open, the 10th is closed. To manage the 9, we need to open the 10th. And the 10th gate is what connects us to the Creator. So the Juda, or the top knot, is part of that technology of keeping the energy of that 10th gate sort of coalesce and concentrated through the top knot. So if you saw yogis in pictures and old sort of, you know, you even look at Mahabharata, right? They'll all have top knots. In the days of old, everybody wore their hair up in top knots. That was the energy, and we know the story of Samson and Delilah and the power of the hair. And so that top knot focuses and concentrates the energy around the crown chakra. When we do meditation, it's about moving our vibration up to the 10th gate. And so when we focus on that third eye, it's also, again, to one, cross the optical nerve, but also to continue to focus upwards, to connect to the 10th gate, to open that up. Higher consciousness, and this is also to move ourselves from the reticular brain, which is in the back of which is our sort of primal brain that most of us use that brain, which is a reactive brain, which is reactionary and simply, it doesn't respond, it reacts when things happen to us. And our effort is to move from there to the top, to the frontal lobe. And this is where all of the processing, all of the compassion, all of the kindness, all of that higher thinking happens. So moving it from there to there. So when you meditate and focus here, one of the things, and you can look this up on in research as well, is that they've found over time is that you will slow down the reticular brain and expand and become more focused or more able to use the frontal lobe and the compassion banks of your brain. That all happens now. This is scientific, but in the days of old, Guruji explained it that this is you want to open up the 10th gate. It's the same thing. When he explained it in the language that was available back then. Now science explains it that we want to expand our capacity here and move away from here because this is what causes wars. This is what causes kindness and compassion. And what is another name for the Creator? Compassion, kind, giving, gentle, embracing. And that is our potential. So we don't have any more our saber tooths to chase around and that we have to kill anymore. Our saber tooth these days is the traffic jam at the tunnel. That's a saber tooth. So then our reticular brain gets all lit up because somebody just stole our spot because they came around the front and now they're in front of me. And it doesn't matter if I'm not moving, but they're still doing it. Right? How dare they? And we've seen that. Like we're crawling at like 1.5 kilometers an hour. That's the speed. But you've got somebody that is not going to let the person that's trying to no way. I'm going to be right on that bumper. There's no way you're getting in here because you might get home 2 seconds before I do. It's not going to happen, right? That's the reticular brain. So when you see that, go pray for them. Why? You're still hunting saber-tooths. And you see a saber-tooth trying to get in. And now you're going to use your vehicle. So the compassion, that kindness, that's about moving away from here to here. So when we do this, when we meditate, we expand that capacity. So if you go online, have a look at the MRI scans that have been done on people who meditate and people who don't meditate. This part expands. This actually grows. This actually becomes bigger. There's more activity that happens here compared to here when you are faced with an event, with an incident, with a challenge. It gets processed rather than you find a response rather than react.
Better performance.
Yes,
Same situation.
higher performance. Because when you react, you're tunnel visioned. When you respond, you've collected information. When you react, you've got this much information. When you respond, you're more informed. You have more information, your capacity to collect more information before you say something. That is the value of doing meditation. So that's the end result. That's what I want to get to. So this helps with that constant movement of that energy upwards. So all of that mystical stuff that that we hear about, the higher, the 10th gate, all of it is there's a scientific relationship, there's a scientific connection. Research is showing us all of this. So when we open up that consciousness, when we open up that higher capacity, we open up that ability to be able to be responsive rather than reactionary, we expand our limitations, we expand our ability to see more. And when we see more, we behave and react and respond differently than when we see less. Right. I hope that makes sense.
So, Tej, if you could just explain a little bit about the meaning of Sangat. What is,
Yeah.
Some people don't really know what Sangat means,
Right.
or what it is. Can you talk a little bit about that and the benefit?
Absolutely. Good food. Why is there a mystery around this? Like, you get Sangat, you get food. It's really that simple, right? No, Sangat, it's a force multiplier. So we have come here, and I don't know, probably more than half of you. Half of you I know, half of you I don't. And that's the same way with the rest of you as well. Some folks you know, some folks you don't know. So you're sitting among strangers here, or so you think. That's our human capacity to see each other as strangers. Our spiritual capacity is to see each other as spiritual beings. Our human capacity is limited by all of our fears, our worries, our concerns, our inadequacies when we interact with each other. Our spiritual capacity embraces, opens us up, connects immediately, because we don't see anything other than that purity in each other. Satsangat brings that out. So when you close your eyes and you begin to chant, you become a force multiplier. So when I started out earlier, when I started to speak about the cleanse, the cleaning, the cleansing that happens in the soul, that is where Satsangat is like this big car wash. You know, instead of one soap, you've got like gazillion soaps going on. The best cleansing that can happen, and motivation, and inspiration, and reconnection, and realization with our true identity and our true purpose and our true relationship with the Creator. It's in Sangat, in sacred congregation, that our emotional relationship with the Creator becomes that much more heightened. There's Sangat that comes afterwards and say, I don't know what happened, I started crying today. And I say, yeah, absolutely. Because that is not supposed to be understood, that's supposed to be felt. So you felt today. You felt your relationship with the Creator. Not only did you feel the relationship, but you also felt the separation. And so that sense of wanting to do, wanting to connect, wanting to relate, wanting to have that experience, and wanting more, and then also realizing the separation and the feeling that, oh my God, I didn't know. I had no idea, I had no understanding. Is that verag? Is that, emotional, of course, it's that tear that comes. And it's also a time where the cleansing occurs. Right? So satsangat, Guruji says, one person cannot make a satsangat. You need at least two. Satsangat kaisi janiye, jithe ikko naam bakhayo. And how do you understand satsangat? Satsangat is that congregation, where we speak of the colors, all of the virtues, all of the gifts, all of the blessings of the Creator. When we talk about the Creator, we talk about our higher self, we talk about higher consciousness, we talk about our very, very best self. That's a satsangat. That is satsangat. When we sit down, when two of us are having a coffee at Tim Hortons, and we talk about everybody else, we get really, rumor mongering is kind of fun too, right? That's not satsangat. That's just two people talking about everybody else. We call that water cooler talk, right? All good, fine, but don't call that satsangat. Satsangat is where we relate from the heart, where we sing, we use our sound current vibration to relate to the Creator, where we use ancient sounds, where we use ancient vibration, where we use ancient technology to connect to the Creator in an instant. That's what this is. So then folks say, well, that's awesome, but my back hurts. Yeah. Nobody said this was going to be easy. You've heard me say that before. Like, this is work, folks. Satsangat is work. Satsangat is absolutely, effort. Because we want something out of it. So there's nothing that we get without putting an effort into it. So we go to work 40 hours a week, then we get a check. Try not going to work and see if your boss will send you a check. Well, unless you work for the government, they'll send you a check. That's kind of cool. But everywhere else, they'll be like, after the first hour, they'll go, hey, where you at? Oh, they know I'm supposed to come to work. Okay. Won't be sending me a check either. Same kind of idea. So this is, as far as Guruji is concerned, if we want to experience the Creator, it's through Satsangat, where you have two people talking about Guru, you can experience, in talking about the Creator, you can experience the Creator. We have the capacity, the capability, the ability, absolute authority, the right to bring the heavens into this space, wherever Satsangat is joined. That is our authority. That is our right. That is our birthright. So that is the power and the authority that has been gifted to us as sacred congregation. That is Satsangat. And you don't need to know each other. You don't have to talk on WhatsApp either. Just got to be here in your purest self. In your purest self. And so when I say, folks, just close your eyes and sing, it's because then you don't have to worry about what the other person wearing, what the other person doing, all that stuff goes away. And the eyes are one of those gates that distracts us. So, and I often say when I'm teaching yoga, I say, just close your eyes. I say, well, why do we close our eyes when we're doing yoga? I said, so you don't see the other person's snot. Because you're breathing hard, and they're going to have snot coming out of their face. That's very distracting. Close your eyes. Very practical stuff. There's no magic here. It's just practical stuff. And when you close your eyes, you immediately begin looking inwards. You begin focusing inwards. You focus. Immediately, you begin to connect with the higher self. Immediately, the minute you close your eyes. Because the distraction and the illusion of this world disappears at that moment. Simply, just at that moment, just by doing that. And you connect to that greater self, to your highest self. So never let it be a mystery or anyone tell you that the Creator is out there somewhere. He ain't. He's in us. He's with us. And someone reminded me, he said, Bhakti Ji. I said, yes, Ji. Why is it always he? I said, you're absolutely right. So she is everywhere. She is in us, she is with us, she is above us, she is around us, she surrounds us. That was my daughter that actually reminded me. Dad, why do you always say he? Very good. Thank you. She's flourishing. Brought warmth to my heart. That she questioned and challenged my thinking on that. Tells me that she is relating to the Creator. Very, very blessed. So, time to remember her.
She's the giver of life.
Yes. Vaheguru, 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 Sajan Sajan, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Nirapara, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Nirasana, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, With your heart. Hare Guru, with your soul. Hare Guru, Hare Guru. Bless. Hare Guru, bless each other. Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru. Bless yourself. Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru. Bless those who don't know. Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru. For peace on earth. Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru, Hare Guru. Ram Kali Mela Tija Satguru Parisan, Satguru Parisan, Satguru Parisan. आनंद पिया मेरी माए सतगुरु में पाया सतगुरु का पाया ऐसे हम दुनिया का This is where we do ardas. Ardas is prayer. Ardas is finishing with a prayer to the Creator, both thanking the Creator for giving us this opportunity to come to sacred congregation, but also asking for the boon of Nam, for the boon of daily practice, for the ability to be in that space of contentment and Chardi Kala always, to have the Spirit flow through us always, to have Nam and Simran constantly vibrating through us always, and be given the gift of being coming back and being available and able to sit in sacred congregation again. That is ardas. Full stop. No ardas for, I hope I get that house. No ardas for, I hope I get that big car. No ardas for, I hope I get that promotion. Don't waste your ardas. When we do that, we absolutely waste our ardas. We have been misled. We have been confused. Everything that Guru Nanak Dev Ji tore apart, we have taken, tape and put back together. He said, don't do that. Don't charge anybody who comes to the Gurdwara who says, can you do a das for me so that my child gets into university? Don't do that. He said that. Don't do that. But we do that. We go to the Gurdwara and say, here's $5.25. Sabha doing a das. I'm going to do the egg. And please do a das for me so that my son will get into university. Wasted. We should be asking that may my son receive Naam. Please do a das so that my son receives Simran. Please do a das that my son receives blessings from the Creator. That's all we need. That's all we want. You go to the Harmandir Sahib, this is how, unfortunately, corrupted this is. You go to the Harmandir Sahib, you can actually pick what size day you want to buy. Absolutely. You want small, medium size, big size, large size, the whole place. What do you want? And the price grows. Where is that written? Where's that written? So the more you give, the more you get back? Is that what that is? Isn't that what we're teaching our children? If you get the big bucket, you get to take big bucket home. It's the most craziest thing. We do that. We proliferate that. We are teaching our children absolutely nonsense. Sorry.
Buying blessings.
Buying blessings, 100%. It's commercial. It's commercialized, right? It's the drive-through. Mak prayer. Can I have a makadas, please? Yes. For my child, for my this, for my that. Here's my list. Here's the names. Here's the list of names. When I go to homes, folks try to give me lists to do a dash for their. We did Kirtan at your home. Didn't ask for any names. Didn't ask for any lists. Didn't ask for don't need. If you have to give me a list to tell the guy who you are, we're in trouble. We are already in trouble. Like, if we're so far detached, we're totally, absolutely done. Forget it. This is not that relationship. He keeps trying to take us into the heavens. We keep pulling him back down into the, no, you need a list to know my name. Sandhu without an H. Sandhu. Incredible. So I've got to tell you, we have to break those traditions, those goofy things that go on. And I've already told you this story many times probably about when I confronted the Gyani at the Gurdwara who did an ardas for parents who had brought a child to the Gurdwara and say, we want to do ardas for our child. And in the ardas, the Gyani says, bless this child so he becomes obedient to his parents. Guruji, give this child blessing so he is obedient to his parents. I asked again, do you know the parents? He said, no. I said, you have just done ardas to put that child, connect that child to those parents. That father could be an alcoholic. The mother could be a thief. The father could be a liar. You've just tied him to that. How dare you do ardas and tie the child to parents when the Guru is there? Why wouldn't you do ardas and say, tie this child to the Guru? Don't tie him to us. Don't make him obedient to us. Make him obedient to the teachings. Make him obedient to the Creator. Make him obedient to integrity, nobility, dignity, and grace. Tie him to that. That's the ardas. So we have to shift. We have to think. We have to do that. Nobody else is going to do that. The Gyanis, the Ragijatas, they're all going to come. They're going to keep doing the same thing. They're not going to change. If we don't ask for that, I'm going to tell you this is going to continue on. And the other thing I tell folks as well is please stop with the Ramala madness. Vaheguru, please stop. Please tell your families, tell your friends, tell everybody, stop with the Ramala madness. Right? I have couples that get married, they say, okay, so I'm going to bring in the Ramala. I say, no, you're not going to bring in the Ramala. But my parents already bought. I said, return. Give it back. Don't bring Ramalas. Bring a rose. Bring flowers. Pay $5 for them. Don't pay exorbitant amount. Use that $250 that you're going to spend on the Ramala. Give it to the food bank. Give it to the Cancer Society. Give it to some foundation that's going to help people. There are people out there hungry, don't have clean water. And we're spending it on this piece of cloth that you can't do anything with. And the Gurdwaras are overflowing with them. Like you literally open up a door and they have to push this back to put another mala in and then close the door quickly. Literally, I've seen that. It's incredible. So this is again, useless tradition. In the days of old, when you brought clothing, the Gurus would wear them, the Gurus would give them to charity, the Gurus would, do something with them. When you brought them gifts, they didn't keep them, they gave them to the needy. Siropa. Siropa does not mean the thing that you put around the neck. This is not Siropa. Siropa means Siro to Pao. Pao to Sir. That's Siropa. When you give somebody an honor, which is a Siropa, is Sir to Pao. A Sir to Pao. A turban, clothing, shoes. So you clothe them, not the orange thing that we get as a Buddha. Who's going to teach our children this? Not the guys that are giving out the orange stuff. No. You want to honor somebody? Honor them properly. That's how we used to honor people. You give them a full set of clothing. And if they were already wealthy, they already had all that, they would take that clothing and they would give it to the needy. And they could do something with it. What are you doing? I've got, Saroj just got a closet full of orange capres from me, orange things that I've been given from Kondoras everywhere. Then I get another orange thing and bring home. She goes, no, not another one. Yes, another one. Let's make some flags. We'll use it on
Closet
Kashmir.
with all of them on it.
So what do you do? So, any other questions before we do our last? How would you? तुझा कर तुम दयादास जियो पिंड सब तेरी रास तब मात पिता हम बारिक तेरे तुमरी कृपा में सुख मेरे कृपा में सुख मेरे न जाने तुमरा अंत ऊंचे ते ऊंचा भगवान सगल समगरी तुमरे सूत्र तारी तुम ते होए स्वाज्ञाकार तुमरी गत मित तुम ही जानी नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी तिनता निवारण हरा दुखंता सुख रास ताको विघ्न न को लगे जाकी प्रभु आगे अरदास ओंकार श्री वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह श्री भगवती जी साहिवाल श्री भगवती जी की पातशाही दसवीं प्रथम भगवती सिमर कै गुरु नानक लित्याय करन मूर्ति अमरदास रामदास हुई सहाय अर्जुन हर गोबिंदो सिमरो श्री हर राय श्री हर कृष्ण ध्याई है जिठिया शब्द बजाय तेग बहादुर सिमरी है करना निधि आवे ताए सब थाई हुए साई दसवें पातशाह कलगीधर महाराज श्री गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहिब जी सब थाई हुए साई दसां पातशाहियां दी जोत श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दे पाठ दीदार दा ध्यान करके खालसा जी बोलना जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु पंजां प्यारियां चौहां साहिबजादियां 40 मुक्तियां हटियां जपियां तपियां जिन्हां नाम जपिया बन सकिया देश चलाई तेग बाई देख के अंडर कीता तिना प्यारियां सच्चियारियां दी कमाई दा ध्यान करके खालसा जी बोलना जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु जिन्हां ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਧਰਮ ਹੇਤ ਸੀਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਬੰਦ ਬੰਦ ਘਟਾਏ ਖੋਪਰੀਆਂ ਲੋਹਾਈਆਂ ਚਰਖੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਚੜੇ ਆਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਰਾਏ ਗਏ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਲਈ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਧਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਰਿਆ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕੇ ਸਾਹ ਸਵਸਨਾ ਨਿਭਾਈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ बोलना जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु पंजां तख्तां सरबत गुरुद्वारे जी दा ध्यान करके खालसा जी बोलना जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु प्रथमे सरबत खालसा जी की अरदास है जी सरबत खालसा जी को वाहिगुरु 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 चित्त आवे सदका सर्व सुख होवे जहाँ जहाँ खालसा जी साहिब तहाँ तहाँ चेहराए देग तेग फतेह व्रत की पैज बंद की जीत श्री साहिब जी साहिब खालसे जी के बोल बाले बोलना जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु सिखा नु सिखी दान के दान है दान विवेक दान विश्वास दान भरोसा दान दाना सरदान नाम दान श्री अमृतसर जी देश नाम चौकियां चंडे गुंगे जुगो जोगे अटल धर्म का जयकार खालसा जी बोलना जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु सिखा दा मानी मत उची मत रखा आप वाहिगुरु ये अकाल पुरख पंथ दे सदा साई दातार जियो श्री ननकाना साहिब ते होर गुरुद्वारियां गुरधामां जिन्हां नूं पंथ तो छेड़िया गया है उन्हां दे खुले खुले दर्शन दीदार ते सेवा संभाल दा दान खालसा जी नूं बख्शना महाराज ए निमाणियां दे मान निताणियां दे तान निओटियां दी ओट ने असरियां दे असरे ने गत्तियां दे गत ने तरियां दे तर ने करियां दे कर मेरे अकाल पुरख वाहे गुरु जियो हाजिर नाजिर शहनशाह बादशाह दरवेश श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब महाराज जियो वाहिगुरु जियो आप जी दा लख लख शुक्रिया लख लख शुक्रिया पिता जी आप जी बख्शिश की कृपा की मेहर की अपने बच्चों ਨੂੰ महाराज आप जी ने महाराज अपनी गोदी ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਕੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੀ महाराज Lord we are grateful for this time thank you for this opportunity to have come together as family as friends as relatives as spiritual beings to sing your holy name to sing your life-giving hymns Lord we are grateful for this company we're grateful for this space we're grateful for this time that we've been able to spend together chanting your love, chanting throughout, Lord, your life-giving hymns and your life-giving name. We had discussions, Lord. We had discourse, Lord. We had conversations, Lord. We spoke of your greatness, Lord. We spoke of your grace. We spoke of your blessings. We spoke of your capacity to forgive all of our omissions, our errors, your capacity to give us life, your capacity to allow us to become and occupy space that we are destined to and fulfill our true destiny and understand our true destiny, Lord, to be able to move in this world with high consciousness, constantly in remembrance of your name and remembrance of your teachings. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless all of us, that we may remember to have a daily practice. May we remember your name. May we remember you throughout the day. May we remember you through all of ourselves, through each breath and through every heartbeat, Lord. We ask that you guide us throughout our days ahead. Give us the wisdom and the ability to treat each and every one with compassion and kindness. Allow us to constantly be your ambassador. Allow us to operate in our highest conscious self, Lord. Lord, we ask that you bless everyone that has attended this Kirtan here today, this Darbar. May we all be blessed with the daily practice. May we all be blessed with sacred congregations ahead in sacred company. May we all be blessed with opportunities to sit again, to sing your life-giving hymns, Lord, in sacred congregation in satsang. Lord, we ask that you forgive any errors, omissions, mistakes that we made today as we sat and sang your Kirtan, as we had discourse, as we had conversations, Lord, as we tried to understand and become more in line and in alignment with all of your teachings, Lord. Lord, you have had sevadars and servants prepare food and langar for all of the sangat that have come here. May these sevadars, may these servants who have provided for us here today, may all of their hopes, dreams, and wishes come true, Lord. May you bless all of us here. May all of our prayers come true, Lord. May you continue to guide us. May you continue to bless us. May you continue to be with us through all of our challenges, all of our tribulations, all of the things that we have to move through as we move through this life, and every day committing to our highest selves. पिता जी मेहर करनी बख्शिश करनी आप जी दे आसरे आप जी दी मेहर अज कीर्तन होए महाराज बाणी पढ़ी सिमरन कीते विचारां महाराज अनजान बच्चे समझ कर माफ करना नेका ही गलती हुई हैं पिता जी अगे तो सुत स्पष्ट कीर्तन बाणी पढ़ना कीर्तन करना महाराज विचारां करना बल बख्शना पिता जी इसी तरह ही अगे तो भी जोड़ना महाराज सिमरन करवाने पिता जी नितनेमी बनाई रखना महाराज भुला चुका तो बचा के रखना पिता जी आप जी दी सेवादारां ने महाराज लंगर ते देगा तैयार कीतियां हन महाराज लंगर ते देगा महाराज आप जी ने प्रवान ही लंगर ते देगा महाराज आप जी संगतां विच टुट बर्तन जो भी शके आप जी नाम सतनाम सेवाय अगे तो भी इसी तरह ही मेहर करनी अगे तो भी इसी तरह ही साथ संगत बख्शनी अगे तो ही इसी तरह ही अपने कीर्तन अपना नाम जपाना पिता जी महाराज अरदास करदे हैं महाराज आप जी दे अगे जोदरी करदे हैं महाराज ने कहीं गलती हुई माफ करनी सुत स्पष्ट महाराज अरदास जोदरी करना बल बख्शना पिता जी मेहर करनी सही प्यारे मेले महाराज, सही प्यारे मेले महाराज, सही प्यारे मेले महाराज न मिलिया तेरा नाम जतिया नानक नाम सच्चा दरबार तेरे नामे सुभा। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। जो बोले सोनिया वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
So we have some tables set out in the garden. Please feel free to go out and enjoy the sunshine. And we're just going to warm up the food, and then we'll all enjoy. If anybody wants to sit inside, you're welcome to sit in here and eat as well. And after prashad, of course. Here's some makers.
My knees always after an hour.
Yeah, so just the first letter of the Shabbat. So it's go to key bani. So go to key bani. So it's K
Okay.
with the space of the Shabbat. Yeah. Whatever the Shabbat is, wherever you pick it up. So I think bani, followed by GKV.
For caution problems.
Those three letters that will bring up all these Shabbats.
You can just have this time on boss.
Yeah.
How much are you doing? Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's September 8th. We are very content.
How are you?
Come back, rejuvenated. It's happening at perfect time. No, it was good. We need that to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
All the very important all tired. If your tools are already at the highest possible point, there's no contingency. It's too risky. You don't want to take them all and then you realize you have half finished house and no money. It made more sense to just test the bus. It's very, in a way, scary for people, but it's just right there. Living on it. Maybe everything is
I wish. Hi, dear, how are you? Good, yeah, wonderful. Hello, how are you? All good? How are you doing? Yeah, we're all good. Got you on TikTok? Yeah, TikTok. Oh, you do. Yeah, better each other. That's good. Yeah. Something that's always, yeah. Oh, great, very good. Okay. Brilliant. Excellent. Yeah. Compared to some of the green peppers. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Very good. Yeah, very good. When does it close?
One that originally closed May 14th, and then the other two.
Do it there. Yeah.
It's funny, at first I thought it was and I'm looking at more jobs, I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
Somebody go out for 9 and have it.
Yeah. Time. It's time. Yeah. Very good. Well, I started, I came from Canal, went into India, promoted to corporal to equipment, but they overran me, kept me in India. And I got into polygraph. And when I was in polygraph, third sergeant. And then while I was in polygraph, I went to the gang task force. Gang task force, I went to criminal intelligence section. Where I got tasked with building intelligence. When I built that, I got into the acting role there. Promoted to the role of staff.
So
There, I went to go to song.
Hopefully one day we'll see you after now.
So I say to everybody that I'm proud, I said, they'll make me proud if you are 10 times greater than what you got to. If I got an inspector rank, you got to get it to the commissioner rank. Then we've done our job right. I have to do opposite.
Oh, really?
Thank you. I'm wonderful, dear. Yourself? Yeah, likewise. You're keeping well? Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Non-stop. Right. Yeah. Yeah, weddings in August 3rd. I'm looking forward to August 4th. Yeah. Well, I suspect, one way or the other, that the work would have ended by then. Yeah. Like now, then they will be on the
I think after you must have also now you can sit back and go, right? It's you.
we're either in England or weddings, or we're doing stuff at home. There's not breaking. No, it's here. It's here. Yeah, it's at Newlands Golf Course. So we started talking about it. No, because she's been coming more people with me and doing the weddings at the Googles, she has seen and experienced some of the madness of cookies that occur. So when I came to her wedding, she goes, I don't want any of that. She said, I don't want any of that. And so that's just and so I said, okay, great. So we have it under control. Yeah, you know, there's not any of that drama. Yeah. It's loud. All right, yeah.
It's all run by Steve.
Oh, okay.
Amazing period.
Really? Sure.
It blows your mind.
Yeah, right.
Like everything. So this was what is run from okay.
Yeah.
It says presence. When you leave. It's a different version. Just in that, they're not like that.
This is it. Kids don't come forward. And unfortunately, kids would actually come forward when they come forward. You know, or elders. So no touching. Wali kita ni dan here. That's wrong. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So good. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah, right. No, that's incredible. You know, so heartwarming and inspiring to hear. Absolutely. I mean, you know what? It's yeah, absolutely. It doesn't work anymore. The kids will just say, thank you very much. Hang on to that. I don't need any of that. Yes. Correct. This is what we're going up. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'll just hold it.
I'll try. Who knows?
And then I have to see overcome yeah, actually. Actually,
Okay, so so less about protection, more about connection. So it's about less about sort of wanting. So I'll put in a menu down. The other one you can do is like one bar. Satguru Prasad. Satguru Prasad. Whenever you feel nervous,
So just give her a call. She's got students, she's got other. Younger one, Jasmine, comes in, and he said, "You're on the vacuum." Give them this. And he'll just do it. Yeah.
What's your daily practice?
So that was it for me. It was not. I didn't want to break. Delegated to the car.
So you have a chant that you do in the morning?
And so they would teach men to serve it, but they would do it. Like
So
get it ready.
So that's what you've done.
You got it. You got it.
Two something.
You're not gonna do it anyway.
And to get to at least for 40 change it of the day.
The older one doesn't want to.
You gonna run up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, run up. I said, yeah, you want to? Sure. Sure. Okay. All right. Yeah, so you're a teacher. Oh, my. What are you asking me? You're a teacher. You should know. Yeah, like.
Because I didn't even think about that.
Community practice is critical because if you don't commit to a particular practice every day, nothing really kind of sets in. So it's really all you do is having sort of
Because after the wedding we can right, but it was just that doctor's meeting helpful. So I didn't have to delegate somebody to come clean or hey, you do the washrooms and I have to do the washrooms, so you're running around doing stuff. So it was really good. They were there on time. And the first night we came home after the party, and she was going to walk to the bus stop because she's one of the students. I go to my because our thing was we don't want to be responsible for picking them up, dropping them off. They have to come to the bus. But then it was like 10:30. I go, so take her to the bus stop, right? So you take her to the one that had the late. Right. So, but after that, she was okay because then she was leaving about 10:30. Right. Yeah.
Because I remember when my parents they had so we kept her up. So I thought that was the most time. The ladies go, we're charging by the hour. I don't think you want her there. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't know how it works. They're like, we don't stay after now. Okay, I don't know.
Well, with them, I told them there's times. There were certain times Wednesday morning we had my lady, so I had her in from 9:30 till about 2. And then Sunday night I'll come in about 5:30. So before we left them. So they gave the time so they came. So they charged us $15 an hour. Yeah. So she said that the lady that arranges it, she gives the money to the girls that do it. She does all of it, so she doesn't keep it for herself, so which is good. Right, because afterwards, like I'm cleaning, like, oh, they're
Yeah.
the toilet
Yeah.
properly, you know. And I was like, okay. And then I told her, I said, you know what, you need to teach them
Right.
what's expected of them.
Exactly.
So you should be the person.
Yeah, yeah, because otherwise it's stress for your, yeah, like your basic. Yeah, no, but we're not doing anything wrong, she didn't.
Yeah.
She was like, I just want to close family. So it's
And that's
just.
my son too next year, so he's like, no, not gonna go home.
Yeah.
That's good at the house.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, you know, I think that kids are becoming more ethical, but like.
With my son, it's like, you know what, this is your budget.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, it's all and so there's a lead on it, both sides, so whoever goes to her wedding, from her side, their wedding, they're coming to the reception as well. So that's how I meet it. With ours, it's all relatives,
Yeah.
to my clan.
Yeah.
Well, keep,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's our close knit that we've always, yeah, so people get.
Yeah, but this part is.
Exactly, that's right.
Ladner here.
Yeah.
And we were stressed, y'all were running on my side. It's just like. Well, then you can,
Yeah.
it's like, you don't understand what I'm saying, you know, your kids and my kids have a connection.
Yeah.
Your kid, I have a connection with you, that's why I'm invited. I did your parents and we're kind of working our way down. But your kids, my kids, they don't talk anymore, they don't know each other, they know nothing about it. So why would I direct your child to come to my daughter's wedding, and sit there bored, going like, what are we doing?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. And then it's the same thing, like, this wedding, because it was my husband's.
Right.
So we met in Miami to my brothers, their families, and my mom and dad.
Right.
And then next year, you know, it's my side of the family.
Yeah.
But then my son's like, well, I'd like to get these two Muskin's daughters to come because they know how close our relationship is, and he knows them quite well. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. And of course, my brother-in-law. Yeah, so you have to go online. You have the 700,000 people there. Something made everybody happy. And then the other thing was.
I was going to tell my Martha, she can have, I looked at the keto diet, what's allowed.
Right.
And so the veggies and the curry, she would have able to have. You can take some home for
Awesome.
He went to school there. Move on over this way. Yeah, you guys meeting today.
Oh, it's okay.
And I went to
It sold it out. It's already.
I'm in Tahiti. Wow. It's a beautiful area. And you've got red onion and red savage place. I can give you the rest.
We are going to create the same view that we are making bigger.
Bigger, right. Now, that's the thing that you had found the house that was around there. Right.
If you find one, let us know.
Such amazing.
Oh, I need to bring it from this.
Tomatoes too. Robbie and my sister is out.
Okay, we can eat too.
We need to bring more curry.
You know what?
Take
this over here.
Yeah.
You're not going out there, just. Yeah, tell people they can come for seconds and they're.
Then you're back from Paris. That day,
Oh, the one that is.
that time,
And should I put it a little bit lower?
I think so, from the sound of it.
You had a chance to eat it?
I'm gonna eat them, yeah. I'm gonna eat them. Oh, wow. Yeah, so Weston couldn't come. No, originally they thought it was the 17th. Oh, that's right, the date change.
I told her that.
I know.
We
Did
were.
they have something? Oh, totally, and you know, on such a like a one-on-one, on a personal small level too.
Oh, I haven't eaten all day, I'm so looking forward to food. Yeah. Oh, incredible, it smells amazing. That's kale from the gardens, the joint gardens. I got some from Benji, some from ours. Your kale must be doing pretty well.
Actually, you have a huge garden too, right?
They got the raspberries and strawberries.
Oh, nice.
Blueberry farm, I got. Thank you.
Benji made beautiful gajrela and yam. Yeah. Sabjis look so and smell so good. It's yeah, they have kale and spinach and all kinds of greens and mung beans and stuff. They're called Haryali Gajrela, Haryali Kofta. Yeah, we made them. And then this is not cream, this is water. Taste got me right now. Okay, that's good. There's a garbage bin outside. Ask Armand. Armand, show Uncle where the garbage is. Like what Dave said last time, he said it's all about the food. And everything is gluten free except for the naan. This is the first time you were able to actually come, right? And I didn't know what it was. Well, I know I was thinking of you, thinking I didn't know what I did. No, I shouldn't want you to. There's kids there. And then I know something that you're buying. Oh, how exciting is that? Yeah, it's another adventure. Yes. And I decided rather than trying to line everything up with the purchase on this thing, that we want to and it's because now you can activate and we want to sell when the market is. I think that's. I was just thinking. Did I tell the people that bought it? No, but somebody. She came in here and she said, I don't want to. No, so it was so interesting how she did them on. She said, I don't want to. I want to do food. So nice. So it's nice that someone who's not come here to appreciate. Course to teach you vegetarian
Can we sit over there again? Or here, what do you want to sit?
I have to do the book.
Yeah,
Yeah, have a love.
you love it. Oh, the book? Did the charger work for your phone?
I don't know how many calories this is.
Let's count it today.
What is this, a penny?
Rice beneath it. Is it good?
The water tastes in this sour. I mean, you can put more wines.
That's what I said. Regessa, I don't know what's going to happen to Pinky. She said, didn't RSVP. Is there going to be any number for her?
There's so many people want to do it. These are all healthy recipes. And vegetarian. What else do you want?
Yeah. Did you see the sabji? The sabji? The Kirtan gobi? It's like,
Kinda was something wrong with it. But then we see it all her food. I'll show you the place where
yeah, let's go. We have on.
I'll take you up.
And there's a samosa place, and I want to get the samosa. It's by
No, I have found a new food place.
oh, this lady makes it.
Oh my god.
Her name is
They have like 10 varieties of samosa.
really? Then we go there.
I got for 8. Like a box of 50.
And
He has to take every day, right?
oh, okay. I'm say it's gonna be 50. Oh, try the carrot one.
No. The whole room, like, I don't want to take it going down. I don't want it for on me.
What time do you go for your walk?
I didn't go to it.
I'm gonna go when we get
So I want to come here.
Yeah.
I just took Yoshi around the block and came home.
I'm gonna go today.
Because if Jessica takes him again, he's exhausted to work it.
So Regessa's dad said, okay, Regessa, get a dog. This is small, cute ones.
Really, a small one.
So I said, go. I know a
You
dog.
will see how much energy it is.
I told him, he was standing
A
there.
lot of work,
I came running.
but worth it.
I came running. I thought people called him, daughter, don't get a dog. I came running down the stairs. I don't talk to him, but I said, no dog. I said, my friend has a dog. She makes some scrambled eggs. She goes to Subway for a chicken. And they have a
Not
dog.
everybody does that. That's
He
stupid.
said,
You can just give dog food.
he said, is she alone? I said, no. She has a husband. She has children. Oh my God. He said, I want to live there. And then
So I like Venezuela. Chicken, broccoli, and sweet potato in my ass. So they can.
And then one time, the kids were talking. He said, oh, and there's a birthday party for Yoshi. He said, is that the same dog? Yeah, I heard about that. Yoshi.
Bunch of crazy people. You're a bunch of crazy people. That lady will see my suit and she makes it. What have you done to it? Change it all together. Yeah. Depends what occasion you're going to, right? Why do you why like reference? Yeah.
He said, you're also feeling that connection. And you know that.
And our bodies feel Some fresh strawberries.
Yeah.
Good evening. The strawberries are so big, and they look organic. Kheer is just awesome. Oh, the kheer. When I will make it, oh, when I love you. Yeah, for
A decade, we see each other along we see each other in Surrey or Abbotsford or something. We're not in town ever. Okay, this color I'm gonna go.
okay, take it. So,
I have it at home.
you have it for sure?
Yeah. That's where I saw that. It's just gonna be sitting there.
Definitely. 100%. And who else would be interested? Preeti and Kunjali. And Kirtan.
I think that's
So there you go. How many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4.
6. Oh, how many lessons are there for 6 of us? 6 of us. What time we have our lessons?
You want to come too?
Yeah.
There you go. You don't need it. Just a 1 for you.
Yeah, that's it.
I will drive.
What can we
Because Preeti is the road. Let's do it, Sama.
Yeah. We're not doing anything. We're just sitting.
Sure.
I'm like,
Jessica and Anna will be so happy. They're always into healthy, learning how.
but I'm just looking at the gold. Like, I can't even tell there's anything. I don't know how she did it. We both have our clothes in today too. We're gonna go to sleep. Look at that earring.
You can ask them when it's a good time.
Say thank you to everybody.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's on the website.
Yes.
I think. I can ask her. She said we have some things and we asked her, what's on it? Actual secret manager. I thought she said that.
You said the book. I knew that they're very not.
I swear, I like gummy bears and you have a salad and that's it.
I have to go study tomorrow again.
Why?
50.
Oh,
She's doing it at her house.
alright, we'll get this most in the soup.
And I will never
Oh, I found something. Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
She's my guide. Nothing.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
हाँ ये तो है आप फोन की नहीं किरण लाइट 17 days हाँ आपकी इतना ही हो गया ये नाल मेरे को आप लाइट करे नहीं वो करी गए आप एक डेटा तो बोले बहुत बच गए कराया था मैंने पहले से लेके उसी घर छोटी पार्टी ले लो इतना का छोटी पार्टी लेकर कभी शैडो में होती है बट डिस्काउंट छोटी पार्टी पर लेके के पार्टी है ना मैं वो ले दूंगी मैं बोले के ना ले पाऊंगी एक क्या जाना फिर लाडो I'll bring a little late. I'm gonna give you something. And then you say, that is another excuse to get together. That's right. Otherwise it will be forever. Yeah. Unless you need your plate, like, no, I really, I won't be able to get it back to you till July. Are you sure? Yeah. So I'm gonna put it in here. Oh, wow. So we'll keep things separate. Okay. There's Frank. Perfect. Well, you tell me what you would like, or whatever you can do. Well, I had to. Your camera is just we must have met at your wedding. Oh, you have the business? Oh, I didn't know that. That's okay. It's funny because you know when the invite came in and the program it didn't have your email and then I messaged on my name's Raj and I went, please let me know if you get any help. But I said, no, I don't have a direct email or I didn't know. Oh, thank you. That's good. I should have actually brought some. I'm gonna take a little bit of a shot. That was so great. And thank you for everything. Very healthy. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. My maiden name is Baines. Are you? Oh my goodness, we're running into a lot of Baineses. Almost. Still. Oh, so you're gonna get something on your feet? All day I haven't. Yeah. But everybody's watching out for you today. Yeah, I know. So, you said you
do laundry and all kinds of stuff now.
Your house is
Tomorrow,
fantastic.
before leaving.
Wait, you're going over the morning? No way. Really?
Oh, how long? That's what I was saying, I can't see you till July after we get back. We're back July.
I wish you guys an amazing time.
We're leaving Monday morning and then Anna will join us a week later after we finish school.
I'm happy for you. Have an amazing cruise.
So, thank you so much, I can't wait to eat that.
You have to try it tonight. It's actually good. I hope you did. It's the second time you did it,
Yeah,
and it's actually good.
and I will want the recipe.
Okay. Bye. Hey, yeah, good luck. I didn't know you're going to France. That's amazing. Have a wonderful trip, and you okay with flying?
Yeah. I just bust up and come up.
Because I remember Maxine telling the story.
That's me.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Just being on the it's just been so busy with you away, then we have the house in there. I'm graduating this summer. She is graduating.
I think I should do this.
Oh, please. We were doing that for some friends in Ireland.